Life can be hard. And if you're watching this or listening to this and you don't know who I am, there's a good chance that life has been hard on you or life is currently hard on you. And I just got to say right off the bat, I know deep down how that feels. I know exactly what that feels like. And as I've been processing the tough season that we've been in, probably for the past 16 or so months, I've started to kind of put words and I'm able to articulate it a little bit better, where the pain and suffering that I feel, just the negative feelings I feel, it has less to do with what is currently happening to me. And it has more to do with me not knowing what to do about it. I'm almost getting emotional saying this. The feeling of just spiraling out of control, where you're totally out of control, the feeling of like hopelessness, where like almost like you take a step forward and you get knocked backwards and you're like, what's going on? You do that 10 times over and over and over again. And then that hopelessness starts to creep in, or you're just kind of looking around and you're just feeling helpless. You're like, man, what is going on with my life? That has taken a toll on me. And if you don't know who me is, I'm Chad Masters. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 3 littles. I live in Franklin, Tennessee. I'm a business owner. I'm a good friend. And I'm a motivated believer who is excited to help people get their head above water, create vision for their life, and pursue that mission against resistance. And let me talk to you a little bit about where that came from. 2025 was the hardest year of my life. And if you didn't listen to the trailer for the Basement podcast, you might have read between the lines, or I'm sorry, if you did listen to the trailer for the Basement podcast, you probably read between the lines of something I said, where there was a period of my life, not in 2025, before this, where I didn't want to be around anymore. And so for me to have those feelings and say 2025 was the hardest year of my life, I don't say that lightly. I don't say that off the cuff. I mean it. It was the worst. And it wasn't just one thing. It wasn't that I noticed my wife and I don't laugh together anymore. It wasn't that I noticed my kids don't think I'm fun and they just see a stressed out and burnt out dad. It wasn't just that our business was crumbling. It wasn't just that our contractor committed fraud and took a ton of money away from us. It wasn't just that we felt there was God-given mission stuff that was failing, or at least it appeared to be failing in that season. It wasn't just that I didn't have many text messages from friends popping up on my phone anymore. It wasn't just that I had gained 50 pounds over the past couple years through bad habits. It wasn't just that I didn't fit in my clothes anymore. I couldn't afford to buy new clothes. It wasn't just that my confidence was taking huge hits. It was everything. It was all of that and more. And I just felt like I was getting hit from every single side and I was out of control. And I would try to fix something and it wouldn't work. And I would try again and it wouldn't work again. And then that feeling of helplessness and that feeling of hopelessness really started to set in. And I was reminded of that scripture where it says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And I would try to have hope and I would try to motivate myself and I would try to build new rhythms and I would try to get in the gym and I would try to reach out to friends and I would try to fix a business thing, or I would try to plan a date night, or I'd try to wake up earlier. And every time I tried something, it would maybe work for a couple days or a week and then it would just fall flat again because something else would happen where it would get interrupted. And so it wasn't for lack of trying. I was trying a lot, but then it would still not get fixed. And you, if you're listening to this, there's a good chance that you've tried to adjust your life, make some changes, modify things, improve things, and it didn't go well. Maybe it went well for a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month, but then you slid back into the old life, or life got harder because for some reason life just chooses to punch you again and again and again. And as that happened to me, I found myself just muttering under my breath again and again and again. Man, I probably said it 2,000 times over the past 16 months. There's got to be a better way. I would just say it off the cuff, just there's got to be a better way. Like there's got to be a better way to do this. There's got to be a better way to help your kids sleep. There's got to be a better way to have like a work rhythm where you can maintain your work. There's got to be a better way to keep a consistent date night where life interruptions don't get in the way of that. There's got to be a better way for every single one of these things. And so I would continually tinker with things. I would try to wake up earlier, but then my kids started waking up earlier. I would try this, but then our basement flooded. I would do this business launch, but then we got randomly audited. I would do this, but then that, this, but then that. And that was the story. And it just kept happening that way until I stumbled upon a better way that worked. And I don't say that lightly. I am so humbled that this is working for me. And what this channel is going to be about, Chad the Dad YouTube channel or the Basement Podcast, what this is going to be about is me documenting the journey of finding a better way. I'm living it out loud. Everything that you will see through this kind of curriculum I'm building, you will see in this content. You will see it lived out loud in our family. There will be a proof of concept. But before I share that proof of concept, let me show you how I got here. So as we were going through all this stuff, and I was trying to be one of those dads that wakes up at 5 a.m. to try to have that quiet time, but then my kids started waking up earlier, so then I started waking up at 4:30, but then it really wasn't enough time to move the needle to get stuff done, to like, because I needed to not like meet the level of work that is needed. I needed to far exceed it. I needed a rebound. And then I started waking up at 4, and then that wasn't working. Our kids were going through sleep regressions. We have a 3-year-old, we have a 2-year-old, and now an 8-month-old. So over the past, I'm sure you can understand, over the past 16 months, there's been a lot of transitions, and that's just a part of life. I'm not blaming them. That's genuinely a part of life. But that doesn't change my responsibilities as their father, as their provider, as their protector. It does not excuse my responsibility to my family. And so this is where things get fun. My 3-year-old is having trouble sleeping. He's having trouble falling asleep alone. And so I would go upstairs and lay down with him in his big boy bed, and I would read to him and pray over him and just kind of pretend to be asleep so he would actually focus on going to sleep. And I knocked out. I was exhausted. And then my body just naturally woke up at 2 a.m. And I checked my phone. I'm like, what time is it? I see it's 2 a.m. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, I feel wide awake. I fell asleep at like 7:30. I got a decent sleep. Let me just get up and just wake up and go downstairs and try to get some stuff done. And that was genuinely the best decision I've made in several years. I came down to our basement, which is where I'm at right now. It's a place where I can make some noise without worrying about waking up the whole family. And it changed everything. The thing I keep saying is that when I hit rock bottom, it became my solid foundation. And so being in the basement at 2 a.m., doing push-ups or sending emails or doing prayer walks isn't the most sexy thing. You want to be asleep at that hour. That was my rock bottom, and it has absolutely became my solid foundation. It has become my arena where I do battle with myself. It has been the area where I take those seemingly competing interests of wanting to take care of my physical, mental health, of wanting to pursue God intentionally, of wanting to raise my kids and then like see a fun dad, of me to pursue my wife faithfully and just like help her feel so loved by me, but also like working with excellence and mission-driven business. It's helped me take those things and it's helped me integrate them all together to where they're not all compounding competitively negative things on each other, where I have to sacrifice time with my kids for work or sacrifice my work and growth to spend time with my kids. I'm now learning how to do everything together. And it's taking that feeling of feeling hopeless and helpless. And it's just like, this is Sparta kicked it like out of my heart. You know, just like I mentioned earlier, hope deferred makes the heart sick. Like being down here has been like medication for my soul. It's been healing my soul to feel like I'm doing something about the tough season we've been in. And while I've been down here and troubleshooting and coming up with new ideas to take our family to new heights and just excited about life, God deeply burdened my heart for you. I don't know where you're at, so I'm not going to project that. But if you're still listening, there's still a good chance that you've gone through a tough season, or you're still in a tough season right now. And God just deeply burdened my heart for other believers who are also in tough seasons and they don't see a way out. You see, just speaking totally transparently with you right now, if I wanted to create some business wins, the way my brain is wired is you find wealthy people and you solve their problems because they can afford high ticket offers and they want convenience. So that to me would be a good idea to build something to progress forward. But man, as I was down here in this beautiful basement, when I say beautiful, it's like, I don't care how it looks. It's bare bones, but it's so beautiful to me. God deeply burdened my heart for the believer who is stuck in survival mode. And so I started creating a curriculum called A Better Way, where step 1 is get your head above water. Step 2 is create vision for your life. And step 3 is pursue that mission against all and any resistance. Because I knew deep in my heart that if I'm going through these things, I'm not the only one who's having to make a decision on whether I can pay for speech therapy for my kid or buying groceries that week. I'm not the only one who has to decide, oh, the doctor's office is closed. We have to go to urgent care for our kid. Oh man, can we make that happen this month? Is that something that we can afford to stay current on everything? I'm not the only one who's having to make tough decisions that honestly you should not have to make, but I'm having to. I don't want to make those decisions, but I have to because it's a reality of life right now. I'm not the only one. And so if you're someone who's been in a tough season where you've had to make tough decisions, this is for you. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that you should wake up at 2 a.m. and do what I'm doing. What I'm trying to create through this curriculum or through this program, A Better Way, is for you to help you find your own way out through this like guided process. Because what works for me may not work for you based on your life stage, your family situation, your work status, all that different things. But it'll hopefully give you the skeleton where you can plug and play and troubleshoot different items to help you improve your life. And so that's why this video or this podcast, wherever you're watching or listening, will feel a little different than to the rest of this content that's going to be coming out on this channel, because that's going to be showing you the day in, the day out, the wins, the losses, the setbacks, the failures, the I can't believe God came through moments. It's going to be very practical, but this is me just kind of laying out the ground rules, the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. And I can't think of a better way for us to do this together than for me to lead with vulnerability, pull back the curtain and show you where I'm at, what I'm going through, what I'm trying, what's working, what's not working, to give you some encouragement to navigate your own journey in hopes of finding a better way. I love this quote that says, "A rising tide lifts all ships." And so right now I feel like there's a rising tide around me and I don't feel like I'm drowning anymore. My head's above water. And now I want to throw a life raft to other people who feel like they're barely getting by. They're stuck in survival mode and they don't see a way out. This is for that person. If you're that person, this is for you. I'm really excited for this. And yeah, that's episode 1. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the basement in a totally non-weird way.